We'll call the meeting to order and ask that we go around, and I think a lot of us know each other, but let's introduce ourselves. Again, I'm Scott Brown from the Whitehall area. And Melissa, why don't you go next, and then Ashley?
Sure. So I'm Melissa Youngbauer. I am the ADRC supervisor. Good morning.
Good morning, I'm Ashley Brecky, and I am ADRC Human Services Fiscal.
I'm Kevin Adams Dunn, Arcadia area, also a county board member.
My name's Alan Robertson. I'm from Blair, Wisconsin. I do have something very important to say. In my office, I have this poster. It's from Peanuts. Do you remember?
Yep.
And the young lady says, "Go out and vote for the blockhead of your choice." So I think that's wonderful. Let's go out and vote, but make sure that we don't consider Miss Nutter a blockhead,
That's right.
okay?
That's
That
right.
was Lucy Van Pelt's statement, by the way.
Hi, I'm Mary Beck from Whitehall.
Rachel Harmon from Pleasantville.
Colleen Schwarke from Osseo.
Anybody online with us? I don't know where we would see it if they are.
I don't see anybody online right now. No.
Okay, well, we'll proceed like there may be people online or people watching us, so I'll be try to be careful what I say. I think
Even
I
though it's
called.
not technically live, you never know when later, right?
Yeah, that's right. The open meeting law has been met through the proper posting. We have an agenda in front of us. I'd ask for a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Kevin moves.
I'll second.
Alan seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. We had received the minutes of the February 6th meeting. If you've had an opportunity to review them, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Alan moves to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, well, are there any questions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. And we'll move on with number 5, ADRC Human Services Joint Consumer Entry Point. It's a mouthful.
Yes, it is. But it's pretty simple, actually. So just wanting people to be aware of the fact that the ADRC still will be moving, that's the plan, back to the courthouse sometime in 2024. We don't know the date yet. You know, that is still to be determined when.
Yeah, as a county board member, we're still working on the details, but it's more than likely you guys will be coming back to the courthouse. It's just more when, so.
Do you have any updates at all, Kevin?
Since
kind of a
Jeannie's
timeframe?
not here, I guess I'll speak kind of for the county board. We're going to bid, for the courthouse renovation will be going officially to be voted on, or the money or whatever will be in May. Because we're gonna talk about it in April, but we're not gonna actually put it officially on the April thing, because we're gonna have a minimum of 3 new county board members, and we wanna give them the time to review it. So we don't wanna, when we get new aboard, we don't wanna overwhelm them on the first day. But the plan is of right now, the official vote to officially start the product should come down in May meeting.
Okay, thank you for that update. What is planned then is that we will have one entry point for human services and ADRC. So most likely, I mean, what I understand is the plan is still that the ADRC will be moving into that area that's currently occupied by the extension office and land management.
Correct.
So there'll be some remodel that'll occur, and so that'll be really the first point, you know, once you get through the security, like all of you just did, you'll veer to the right, and then that first area will be ADRC Human Services Reception Area.
I do like that because it's right next to the it's still in the old courthouse, but it's the closest to the entrance too, which is for handicap, you don't have to go across that was the whole, from the county board, the whole reason why this board and the previous board, we purposely set that up so people don't have to, especially in mobility and issues, have to go all the way across the courtroom. We purposely designed it that way.
Yeah, and I think that is by far the best plan, just so that there's less distance, the least distance as possible.
Yeah, that was kind of the priority of both boards for a human services thing to be as close to the entrance as possible. We did that on purpose with that in mind.
Right. So just letting people know, as of right now, we've already kind of started that transition. So Becky Rick has been hired as an administrative specialist. Right now, she is the staff that is answering the phones for ADRC and Human Services. So we do not right now have a staff that is, an administrative staff that is over at the ADRC. All of that is being done right now in this Human Services area of the
Do you
courthouse.
still meet with ADRC participants,
We,
retention one in
we,
the old building?
we definitely do, and so right now, without having any kind of a reception or administrative staff doing that role, right now, ADRC staff are fulfilling that role. And I think it's going pretty well, but yes, we are conducting business per usual, minus the incoming phone calls. So still meeting with people, ongoing throughout the day, every day at the ADRC. We have always had some traffic that has came in at the courthouse, so people that just don't realize that the ADRC is across the street. And so we just take that kind of as a case-by-case basis. If somebody is letting us know that they'd prefer for ADRC staff to come over here, we certainly do that on occasion.
Try to come over to the courthouse to not make them go all the way.
Right.
Try to accommodate.
Right, yeah. So I think it's a good model. We're getting kind of, like I said, we're kind of sorting out some of the kinks right now already in anticipation that when we come over, that I think it's gonna be pretty seamless.
Sounds good. Any questions?
I have a
Kevin?
quick question. Ms. Stallings was wondering if she got an email to attend virtually. She's trying to attend virtually and she didn't get an email to do that.
Oh, okay. Ashley, would you be able to
Send her one?
send her that link?
If you're a so that'd be nice for her. She was just wondering.
Do we have an email address for her?
I'll ask her what it is. I can show it to you on my phone. Hold on.
I think
Well,
it's,
while we're doing that, we just had the new county administrator walk through the door, so why don't you introduce yourself, and if you want to know us a little bit, we can maybe go back around and reintroduce.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm late on different phone calls. So I'm Becky Gluen, and I am the new county administrator here. So I just started a couple months ago, almost 2 months ago. Just really enjoying my time here. I live in Whitehall, and it's been great to get to know everybody and really enjoying getting to know the area. And so that's a little bit. I have 3 kids. They're all in their 20s and out on their own and living their lives. So mom is living hers. So if you have any questions or otherwise, I'd love to get to know who you are. Thank you.
Do you want us to go around the room again and just briefly?
If you don't mind, sorry.
Yeah, Mary Beck, you wanna start on that end? And
I'm Mary Beck from Whitehall.
did you find it, Ashley?
Rachel Harmon from Pleasant Grove.
Colleen Schwartzy from Osseo.
Scott Brown from the Whitehall area, rural Whitehall.
Melissa Youngbauer, ADRC supervisor.
Ashley Brecky, ADRC Human Services Admin Fiscal.
Kevin Adams, Arcadia Area County Board member.
Alan Robertson, Blair, Wisconsin, and my son Tim is awfully glad you're on board because he was doing the work that you have been hired to do for a period of time. And
The acting, yeah.
yeah, he was wearing a couple different hats.
Well, it's good to know that, yeah.
Runs in the family, public service does, doesn't it? Seems like.
Well,
Father, son, kind of.
Good to meet you. Thank you all.
So
She's a-
your predecessor's dad, basically, or you would call it, yeah. Cool.
This is a good group of people. We'd like to be the advisory group. We don't have a lot of power, but some good ideas occasionally that we can pass along to Melissa, and she's very open to anyone at any time calling up and sharing ideas or concerns. It works out nicely to be able to do that. So thank you for coming this morning, and you're always welcome to join us. We always have, I don't think we've ever had a closed meeting.
Not in this committee, other committees, but this is the fun committee, as Supervisor Nutter would say. This is the committee where you don't have to worry about all of the drama and some of the other committees and hard choices, so.
For sure. And I think we may be on TV too, so there are people that occasionally come up to me on the street and say, I saw you on TV the other day. I said, okay, where was this now, and what was I doing?
And
What
we
was
have
that?
had people call us during the meetings.
Yep.
That has
That's true.
happened, yeah.
Yep, so it works out good. So, thank you. Review of the health and wellness programs and activities.
Yeah, so wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about preventive health and health promotion. We receive an allocation from the state every year to basically to fund and operate different evidence-based activities and programs. Just to give you an idea, in 2024, our allocation was $3,721. So not a huge amount, but it is how we operate our programs. We did receive ARPA funds that need to be spent by September of 2024. So we received an allocation of almost $6,000, so $5,996 that would need to be spent before September to, again, provide and offer these high-level evidence-based programs. So I do want to be very clear that, you know, we are told very specifically that it needs to be on these high-level evidence-based programs. So we couldn't, for example, like operate a health fair and use funds to operate that. It's got to be in these specific, very specific programs. So in recent years, really one of the programs that you've heard a lot about has been the Strong Bodies program. We've offered that in 3 different locations in 2023. We just wrapped up our 2024 program in Whitehall. So with these additional funds that are available, we've been spending a lot of time trying to determine how can we possibly reach the most amount of people. So basically, how can we best spend these funds? So we've come up with a few ideas. Our plan is, one, we would like to train more people in Strong Bodies. So that has kind of been our, you know, you've heard me talk about that before. We are really fortunate. If you look at the front page of the handouts that I gave you, we do have a training that's coming up in August in Eau Claire. So these funds that I just referenced, it would be great if we could get some more people to attend that training. The training, I think it's around $350. We have trained, you know, several people in our county, but the push is on now to get more people trained, especially since the training is so very close. We do have one person so far that has signed on. She is from, again, this Independence Drum area, so good news for the people in this, more of this central area. But I guess what I would like to do is just to encourage any of you, if any of you could help spread the word and try to recruit trainers, that would be ideal. Does anybody that has participated in Strong Bodies, any comments that you'd like to make about the program? Or just people that are familiar, that you've heard comments about it? Any feedback?
I was a part of this group. I missed the picture day. I think I had a meeting with other pastors at a Dairyland meeting, so I wasn't there. But it really, I think, helped me to think differently about my body and how my body functions. And being 71 years old, it doesn't function the way it used to. But the program is designed for us to do, at whatever level we can. And it's a very good program, and it's done slowly so that, you have kind of maximum use of your muscles through the process. Like, I just, using some free weights, I'll just use one example, doing a kind of an overhead press, up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4. You do sets of 10, and then you do a couple of them, and then you go on to a different exercise. But it lasts for an hour, and everybody, we moan and groan and we grunt, and my shoulder right now hurts. Not even sure what I totally did, but the last one we had, I had to do no weights in this arm because my shoulder was hurting so much. But it's good. It's really good, and it's a fun thing. It's not just all work. We have social, going on during, and we can kid each other, and it's just good.
Yeah, I had reached out to the health department to ask them about whether or not they may be interested in partnering with us, helping us recruit leaders for the class. And they definitely, this flyer is something that I've shared with them, and I'm asking them to also kind of help with that recruitment process. Rachel, you can go ahead.
That's okay. I did participate in the program in September in Strum, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm not an exercise person, but it was very rewarding.
Regarding the health department, I could reach out to them too, because I'm on the health board for at least the next couple of weeks and see where that's at, because we need to recruit, because I'm the vice chair as best we can.
I think that would be really helpful. I think the more partners we can have involved in these evidence-based programs, just the better. And again, we've got the funds to help train people, so the timing is really right.
I tried doing it but my legs wasn't cooperating. They kind of shut down. But if it comes up again, I'm gonna try it again, because like my sister-in-law says, you gotta try. You can't just sit and not do nothing. And
You can, but it's not best for your body.
but it won't be good for your body either. You gotta get up and walk and exercise.
Right. So wanted to also let you know about another new program. It's called Eat Smart, Move More, Weigh Less. It's an online program. So this is a 15-week weight management program. This is something that I did not know a whole lot about, but this is a program that the state had really kind of encouraged us to try to see if there would be interest out there. I'm really excited about it. We did have this program. We did advertise this in our latest newsletter, and I do have one person that did sign up for this program. So they'll start in April. So again, just something that I want you to be aware of. I think it's a really great opportunity. Again, another high-level evidence-based program. This is definitely needs to be somebody that is comfortable using Zoom and email, but there's certainly a segment of our population that's out there. So I will definitely be updating you in the future. Every month there's a new class, a new 15-week class that starts. So this person that is enrolled will start the class in April. So I'll keep you updated.
Can I just do a plug?
Yes.
I wasn't involved with this one, but I was a part of a Mayo Clinic study that they did. They needed cancer survivors who had a BMI of over 35, And we started a 12-week program with a PhD from Mayo back in September. And it was very much similar, eat smart, move more. Lost 30 pounds. And, I'm gonna try to continue to eat smart and try to move more now that spring is coming. But if you set your mind to it, it can be done. I haven't weighed this little in my life since I was probably in college. So it's just something that could be good for anybody.
And the last thing that I want to talk about is, and again, at the ADRC, we've been talking about how can we affect as many people as we can with the limited funds that we have. And again, trying we have staff that already have all of their roles and responsibilities. Those are not lightning, but how can we maybe again, without having as many volunteers as we'd like to operate these programs, what can we do? So what we have just recently decided is we are going to facilitate the Walk with Ease program. It is an evidence-based program through the Arthritis Foundation, as you can see. There's a couple different ways you can operate the program. There is a self-directed program, so we can purchase books for people that just want to do it on their own. Okay, that's one option. Another option is like a enhanced self-directed option. And then it's the program as intended would be meeting 3 times a week for 6 weeks, and there's a facilitator. So what we are going to do is we are going to hold the Walk with These programs for 6 weeks, but in 3 different places throughout the county. So we've decided that we are going to offer the enhanced version, so meaning then we're going to have staff from the ADRC walking in Whitehall on Mondays, in Osseo on Wednesdays, in Trempealeau on Fridays. So we know that most likely somebody from Whitehall is probably only going to attend that facilitated walk 1 time a week because they're not going to go to Trempealeau and they're not going to go to Osseo. But this way we're just hoping that we can touch as many people as we possibly can. So it's basically 1 hour walk, but there is, like, as the facilitators, we will lead stretches, education about how important walking is going to be, and that's going to be done for 6 weeks. So we just are working out the details on exactly where the meeting places are going to be in those communities. But I think it's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to just encourage people to get out and walk. Does anybody have any questions or feedback about that program?
Where are we supposed to walk?
So in Whitehall, we're still determining where the starting point location is going to be, Mary. So just stay tuned. We hope to start this at the end of May, and it'll go then through the month of June. So we'll let you know. We also have to determine.
That sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Do people have to have arthritis in order to
They
participate?
do not.
Okay.
They do not. So it's really, the evidence has shown that this program is certainly good for those with arthritis, but it's also great for those that don't have arthritis and just want to be active and
So even
healthy.
though it's primarily for people with arthritis, you can still go if you're not. Which I agree that, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. When they first started the program, it was definitely geared towards those with arthritis, but we know how valuable walking and activity is for everybody. So I think it's going to be really fun. So it's going to be kind of like a walk across Trempealeau County, really.
So we'll be walking from here to Trempealeau and then to Osseo, so, get your new hiking shoes out and, okay, any questions about those programs? All very good, for sure. Cafe 60.
Okay, Cafe 60 opens tomorrow. We've talked a lot about it, and now it's here. So we're hearing a lot of buzz. Have you all been hearing about it? Who all is going?
I think I might.
So it's our
Tomorrow, yeah.
newest senior dining option, and it's going to be at Sweet Temptations in Whitehall on Wednesdays, starting at 12:30, and will run until 1:30. So if you look, I think it's the fourth page, then we'll have the Cafe 60 menu. And so we have right now 3 volunteers that have been trained that are going to be working at Cafe 60. In addition to Sammy, the nutrition director, and myself, of course, will be there. We're planning on being there for at least the first few Wednesdays. But as you can see, when you come in, you'll be given the menu, and diners will choose then between one of those 5 options. Then we'll be giving that, then handing that off to the chefs or cooks in the kitchen that'll prepare your meal. So again, this is the only restaurant-style senior dining option right now in Trempealeau County. It's being done successfully in several other counties, and so we're just really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody from Sweet Temptations that is in management or ownership there, but I want to give them a big thanks for willing to try this out and partner with us, because I don't know about Trumbull County, but I know a lot of businesses are hesitant to do that. For them to be so open-minded, it's like, I appreciate them. So I do know some of the owners and managers that run Sweet Temptations, some of their sister businesses. They're great people.
I agree. I'm feeling a little bit nervous myself. I feel like we're gonna get slammed at 12:15. Yeah, so, but yeah, we met with them and the volunteers last Wednesday and just went over what this whole process is gonna look like. They're prepared that it could be very busy, so we'll just problem solve and you know, I feel good about the number of volunteers we have. I think it's minus the busyness, I'm really excited.
About 2 months ago, I was eating by myself, and Rita Sunday, one of the 2 owners, Matt and Rita Sunday, own the business, came over and sat down with me for about 15 minutes, and she never stopped smiling, talking about this program. I mean, she was just thrilled to be able to offer something like
Seemed like a very
that.
willing partner.
Yeah,
It's
yep,
very yep.
yep.
And it's been at least 5 years since there was a senior dining option. If you all remember, there had been senior dining in Whitehall, and then the cafe closed unexpectedly. So this has kind of been a long time in the making. If you look on the reverse side, there's an alternate menu, and so they will be alternating the 2 menus. So the menu will be cut in half when diners come tomorrow. They'll get just the half menu, and they'll have those 5 choices. Yeah. Yeah, so super exciting. And as you all know, we've talked about this before, all of the menus have to be a dietitian approves all of the menus. So, you know, just letting people know about that. That's no different. So all of these menus have been reviewed and approved. Then we'll jump into the community and culture dining experience. So that's the predominantly blue flyer. Again, this is part of our aging plan that we were going to reach persons of different cultures and get them involved in our dining. We specifically chose the dinner at 5 to reach perhaps a different population than we're reaching at that noon dining option that we have for all of our other meals. I think if you would have asked me 2 months ago what our goal would have been for this dinner, I would have probably said 40 to 50. I'm shocked at the interest in this. We now have 93 people signed up for this dinner.
Guess I better call soon.
If there is anybody that does want to sign up, okay. We have decided we are going to need to cap it at 100 after talking to
Wow.
talking to the venue. We just don't feel like over 100 and dining at the same time is going to be a great experience for everybody. So I think that's just amazing. It tells us that what an interest we have in this concept overall. So I think it's pretty darn exciting.
I think it's a good thing, you know, you have to put a cap on it. That means you hate to turn people away, but on the other hand, it means it's being very well.
Right. And just to review, the plan was that we would do these cultural dinners quarterly, so 4 times a year. This is our very first one. So, yeah, it's just really exciting. We did recently have a volunteer who has considerable experience. He's a chef. And he had given us some suggestions about upcoming cultural dinners. And he gave us a great idea last week. What he talked about was, why not celebrate our American culture and do more of a picnic kind of 4th of July type of celebration this summer? I really like the idea.
Hot dogs and apple pie.
Yeah. Do any of you, and I know that some of you have also given some suggestions, and we love the feedback. It'd be great if we could kind of get ahead of this and get some dinners planned over for the next even couple quarters. But do people have any thoughts or feedback about kind of that idea, that concept, celebrating our American culture?
I think that's a wonderful idea. I was also wondering if you've asked your father about a Polish culture
I have
evening.
not asked him yet,
He'd
but
love
I
it.
know the answer is yes.
Yeah,
So,
love it.
You would officially ask them, okay.
and again, just going back to, not only do we want to hold these in different times we again strategically want to offer the dinner at 5, but we want to do these dinners in locations where there's not already a senior dining experience. So in my mind, if we were to look at like a summer picnic, I was thinking Osseo would be a possible good community. So Colleen, if you have any suggestions, certainly let me know about maybe. Yeah, okay. So, pretty exciting, I think.
Sounds good. Any other questions for Melissa about that? Okay, dementia care specialist position design.
Okay. I think maybe most of you knew this, but Becky Kamrowski, our dementia care specialist, left our agency back in, I believe it was February? Does that sound right? She accepted the same position in La Crosse County. So
Is it closer to home for her? Is that why she left, or she didn't really want to say?
I think it's about equidistance.
Okay.
For her. I think one of the things, I'll just just be honest and upfront with one of the things I think that was really attractive to Becky is La Crosse County has multiple dementia care specialists. So I feel like that was very attractive, being able to work with a counterpart doing the same thing that she's doing. So very, very sad to see her go. Becky was with us for about 2 years and did an excellent job. So right now, we're without a dementia care specialist. Wanted to let you know that the state.
Are you guys hiring for one, or how does that?
We will be,
Okay.
yes. So the state informed us after Becky's departure, or before her departure, that we would no longer receive full-time funding for a dementia care specialist, so our funding was reduced to half. So it's kind of a difficult thing to explain of how that can be. If you, going back, we were really one of the first counties to have a dementia care specialist. Now, all counties need to have a dementia care specialist. And because Becky was already full-time, the state allowed us to have the funding to keep
They
Becky's.
grandfathered you in, basically.
Yeah, basically. And then when Becky left, we
You
lost that.
Yeah. And I know much, and you're also one of the first counties or founding counties, the ADRC program too.
We were the pilot. We're the very first. There was,
Yep.
I think, 7 ADRCs in our county, or in our state, and we were one of those 7.
So it's pretty soon we're one of the founding ADRC, this little community, we can have bragging rights on that one.
Yeah.
It started with 4.
Was it 4? Okay.
But either
Scott
way,
knows the
you're-
history more than I do.
But either way,
lived
was
through
only
it.
a few counties are one of the first, so that's.
Yeah, yeah. So that was kind of a blow to us when we learned that, certainly we feel like we have the work that, for a full-time DCS, but we can only, we only have the funding for that
Like
halftime
I'm saying, when
position.
she left, you lost your grandfather.
Right. So we are currently looking at combining the caregiver role. So we operate the 2 different caregiving programs. All counties have the National Family Caregiver Support Program and the Alzheimer's Caregiver Support Program. So our director and our fiscal director are currently looking to determine how many hours of funding can we come up with, basically, of caregiving hours to combine that with a dementia care specialist role. Currently, Shelley Rui, who is she's our caregiver support specialist and our disability specialist. So right now, Shelley's really wearing a couple different hats. So if we can pull off those caregiver hours from Shelley's plate and add that to the dementia care specialist role, that's what we're going to
And
do.
you can make that person full-time between the
It
two.
wouldn't be full-time,
So it wouldn't be full-
unfortunately. It would
even with-
probably be somewhere around 5 hours a week.
Oh, so even if you combine, it still wouldn't be a full. Do
yeah.
you think you have a hard time recruiting if it's not being full-time?
I think it's potentially going to be a challenge.
But again, being a small county and not getting little if any state funding, that hurts us because we're not a big county, so.
Right,
We have
right.
limited resources.
So we're gonna work and do the best that we can to
Yep.
combine those 2 roles. Hopefully I'm explaining this correctly, yeah. So the caregiver role, again, it's kind of like those prevention dollars. We don't get a lot of dollars to do those 2 programs. So we can't add a lot to that dementia care role, but we can add a little bit. Certainly that's something that we've talked to the state about. The state definitely supports combining those 2 roles.
That's good.
According to them, it's an allowable position then. There's some roles that might have some.
I was just gonna ask, is the state back, and it looks like they're okay with
Yeah,
that, which is good.
Yeah, they're very supportive of that
I think part of the reason
combination.
is why they're probably allowable, because they know our financial limitations, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, so not great news,
No.
but like I said, we're in the process of determining exactly how many hours that will be per week, and then we'll be getting that posted sometime soon.
Does that cover part of the funding too?
It does cover kind of the funding. So yeah, number 9, yeah, if you remember, I think it was our last meeting. Didn't we talk about how the state had told us that we would be one of those counties that would have funding reduced? The good news is, I think there was a lot of advocacy that was done, and a lot of people that were saying, we're doing more work than we've ever done. How could we possibly do more work and then you cut our funding so that we have fewer positions to do that work? So what the state is now saying, the terminology they're using is that we'll be held harmless moving forward indefinitely. So we are at this point not expecting that we will be having those cuts to our budget at any point. So very, very good news.
So
Those
you think
states,
with people speaking out in favor, like, maybe they kind
It
of
made a
backtrack?
difference. It
Maybe
made a
Maybe
difference.
they backtrack from their,
it made a difference, definitely.
I think some people, not only just in the disability, but I think some of our county board members that like also go to the state can be, I think some of them spoke, and one of the things that some of our county board members that go down to Madison, I think that was brought up to them, and they went to the state and said, why are you doing that?
Right.
So we have other county board members and other, including them, a lot of people, including a couple of county board members, say, what the heck are you doing? So we have a lot of advocates, including on the board, so. I know not everybody on the county board may be advocate, but there are some of us that are fighting tooth and nail what we can do with the state, so.
Right, absolutely. And, you know, the facts are just that in 2023, just ADRCs in the state did serve a historic high number of consumers. And so those state, or those counties that learned that they would be receiving additional funds, they still will be receiving those funds. Nobody is taking those funds from them. It's just now at this point, nobody is being cut. So that's the
That is good news, even though we're not getting new funding, we're not being cut either, so that's still good news.
Right, it's still good news. Yeah, I think it's just something for you all to be aware of, just kind of what has recently happened, and, you know, just to be expecting to hear more about ADRC funding in the future. I would say the thing that I'm hearing the most about right now is concerns regarding the nutrition programs. Over the last several years, the nutrition programs have received, you know, COVID stimulus funds. So we had additional funds to be operating those programs, but we're not going to be receiving those after this year. So there's going to be possibly tough decisions that some counties are going to need to be making. So nothing at this point, but just to kind of to be aware of, and just advocates that are with GWAR and that are with those nutrition programs, they're working very hard to make concerns known. Because again, we are serving record numbers of people in those nutrition programs, and we know how important they are to our seniors, so.
For sure.
And there are other counties that are having and have already made some tough decisions about reducing the number of days, for example, that they are serving home-delivered meals. You know, in this county, we still are operating meals 5 days a week, so, yeah. We'll continue to keep you updated as we hear and learn more.
Thank you. Aging plan?
Aging plan updates. Just very briefly, we're still currently working on the community engagement portion. So just getting feedback from our seniors right now as to what is important. At the very, I guess the second to last page of the handouts is our survey. We are surveying as many people in our county as we possibly can, not just seniors, but everybody, to learn what is most important. In addition to the surveys, which can be done via paper form or they can be done online. So I guess I would encourage all of you, if you have not done a survey yet, certainly either complete this and turn it in to us or complete it online. We're also doing more in-depth interviews to learn what's important. The next step is going to be the focus areas. So when we met the last time, I had let you all know that the state has not given us the focus areas as of yet. We do have a meeting scheduled for April 18th, which at that time the state will let us know what our focus areas will be. So we can be assured, we know already what most of those are going to be. I'm sure there's going to be goals that we will need to develop regarding senior nutrition, for example. That's just, I'm sure that there will be a goal that will be necessary regarding senior nutrition. But until we have those, we're really not able to go too much further. But again, we're still gathering data, and stay tuned.
Sounds good. The next item we actually did is number 4 instead of 11, so we adopted the minutes. So I just have one thing I heard this morning. We usually talk about scams and stuff at this point in our meeting. It's not on the agenda, so I'm not sure if I'm even legally able to do it, but, okay. Well, we got two things, I guess. One of them is that on the news this morning, they talked about internet or email scams about the IRS. And people are trying to scam you out of money, so if you get an email from the IRS, just delete it. You know, they're not gonna contact you that way. I think they usually do it by mail, I think is how IRS functions.
Yep.
Yep.
I see they generally do it by email, but they also do phone calls, but it's primarily email now. Because they used to do phone calls, and they found out that, that when they used to do phone calls, people caught on to that quick, so now they're moving on to email. So whenever we try to stay ahead of it, but they think the scammers always are one step ahead of us.
Yep. So, yeah, there's a lot of emails that come through, they don't even show you much of a heading. The subject line might be blank. I just go ahead and delete those. You know, if somebody really wants to get a hold of me, they maybe gonna have to call me. But, yeah, there's just so much going on these days, and everybody, especially us older folk, need to be careful. So check those emails. And the last page, informational session, Friendship First Community Center, April 9th. Scams and fraud targeting seniors, so there you go.
Yeah, I know that we usually talk about scams at the end of our meetings, but just letting people know that this is a good opportunity. That'll be in Blair on April 9th, so next Tuesday. So in case you have anybody, know of anybody that may be interested, or if you're interested yourself, good opportunity to dine, because that's a senior dining there at 11:30, and then you can listen to a great presentation, so.
Need to call ahead for reservation on that one. It's not like the one at Sweet Temptations.
Right, for the meal, yes.
The Sweet Temptations, you're not required to call ahead for, that's the only one I heard, that's another
It's
thing.
the only one.
That's another thing too, because you're not, it's recommended but not required. People like that too.
Yes,
That's one pro. I think that one's not required because they have the space, or how come they just, which is still a good thing, but.
Just because of it being a restaurant model, so they just feel like they'll be able to handle just people
Because
coming
it's a
in.
restaurant, there's another thing about the restaurant model, not having that requirement for people that do want to drop in, and I think that's another positive thing.
Absolutely, you know, Ashley can speak to that as well. It's just some people just, yeah, they just,
But it's so hard for the other provider, or other meal sites, because they're catered, to know exactly how many meals to bring in.
yeah.
They could plan for 25, you get 50. You plan for 50, you get 10.
Yep.
So to keep
Yep.
the food cost and the waste to a minimum, they require the reservation.
Yeah, because I know why they require, because you don't want, because like I'm saying, you don't want to either waste food or not have enough food, either way. And unfortunately, if you don't have reservations, either or both can happen. So I appreciate, either way is not good, so, yeah.
Most of our providers are very accommodating. They may, throw in an extra couple meals or so. So if we do have a walk-in or something, more than likely it's accounted for.
But you see-
Wanik, the ladies, if they order a meal or something and a senior comes in, they'll give up their meal because they want to make sure that, the seniors are being taken care of. So
I
there's
mean, it-
usually some
yeah.
little playroom.
A little leeway, but they
Little.
try to get some. yeah.
Right, yeah.
Tomorrow will be interesting.
Yep, for sure. Okay, any other items? Anybody else know of any other scams? Okay. Next meeting will be the 4th of June at 10:30, probably in this room.
Yep.
Yep, sounds good. We came to the end of our agenda, so that means we're adjourned.